Evening, everybody. Icy here once again, talking about a bunch of BS that you probably don't care about or you do care about and whatever. Okay, let's start with Vladimir Putin and his ensuring that Russian opponent of his died. Okay, they're saying that this guy died from the same poison that Putin tried to poison him with 3 years ago. So that we got that going for us. We got former President Donald Trump being stuck with that $380 something million fine for fraud which never occurred. I hope this goes to appeal, and I also hope that the judge that was in charge of that case loses his what do they call it, being debarred, so they take away his law license. He shouldn't be a judge. That man's totally prejudiced against Mr. Trump. Then again, so is Letitia James, who is the former district attorney for the city of New York under Bill de Blasio, and who squelched the investigation into the missing $850 million that de Blasio's wife misplaced. So I don't trust her, and I don't trust that judge, and let's see what happens. I know a lot of businesses are talking about pulling out. I offered my advice to Mr. Trump in regards to this issue, excuse me, and I stated that his best bet would be find a new location to establish his business empire somewhere out in Louisiana, Tennessee, Mississippi, Alabama, not Georgia, and run it from there. Then all his employees that he currently has in New York City, which are quite a few thousand of them, it's a little pricey, but what I suggested is he offer each of his employees $20,000 to move to wherever his new business is going to be. It's beneficial in the long run because these people are already trained working for Mr. Trump. They know their jobs. They know how to do them well. So if he turns around and moves out of the city, takes his business with him, why don't you take your people with you too? I mean, if you think about it, the cost of living is cheaper down there. If they're maintaining the same paycheck that they were getting in New York, which they probably will since it's Mr. Trump and he's a great guy, I can see these people moving. Not only that, but it gets them out of the city into a safer environment because New York City's turning into a cesspool anyway. So it's a win-win for Mr. Trump. It's a win-win for his employees. And it's also a win-win because a lot of businesses are going to follow Mr. Trump and they're going to get the hell out of New York City. I mean, you think about it. You know, they're screaming for money. They sued Mr. Trump for the same exact money, give or take a few mil, that the city was asking for. Now Letitia James is going to be taking that money that Trump's got to pay in fines, and she's going to bring it into Albany. And now the governor and Letitia James will look very magnanimous in taking those millions of dollars that they just stole from President Trump, and they're going to be giving it to who else? The illegals, right? So who knows? Next case would be New York City Mayor Eric Adams. Dude, you keep screaming you don't have the place to put all these illegals. You're so full of crap. It's unreal. You have how many abandoned ships down on the pier? A lot that I know of. So you go down to where these abandoned ships are, cargo ships. You put in bunk beds. You put in space heaters, electric space heaters. You run water lines. You run, power lines so they have electricity. So they got, electricity for their heaters. You do that. You could, they could cook. You set up a galley on the ship, and then they got a place to eat. And those cargo ships, they hold a lot of people. So that would be your best bet. It's already there. It's readily available. All you got to do is provide water, sewer, and electricity. You got to do that to any place you're going to renovate anyway. So just grab a bunch of bunk beds or cots and bring them on down to the pier. So that'll fix your homeless problem for the time being until you can get your head out of your butt and figure out what you're going to do in regards to shipping them back south. Okay? They're not citizens. They're not entitled to all the benefits that New York State seems to enjoy giving the illegals, provided that they vote for a Democrat in all state and local elections, under the pretense that state and local elections are not monitored by the federal government. Not only that, but why are you giving benefits to illegals anyway? It's against federal law to provide, support for these illegals. Oh, I keep forgetting. When you got Democrats in charge, the laws are changed to fit their narrative, not what the actual law is. I mean, look at Mayorkas. We had almost the totally secure border under former President Donald Trump. First month in office as Mayorkas, he destroyed it. Now we got, 9 million plus illegals in this country within 4 years? Now, these people are mostly males under the age of 35, fit, military age personnel. Now you've got 20,000 plus Chinese. The most we ever had of Chinese sneaking into the United States before was like 430. Now you got 20,000 plus. Don't tell me it's not an invasion. Don't tell me these people are not trained, but Chinese military personnel, and they're, I'm going to say the term, fifth columnists. They're going to be going around to the different parts of the states. They're going to find out where the infrastructures are, the power plants, the food processing plants, the communication centers, and we're going to wind up having all kinds of terrorist activities going on within the United States, courtesy of President Joseph Biden and Kamala Harris, Alejandro Mayorkas, Anthony Blinken, and yes, I'm going to throw in even Pete Buttigieg because he's a moron anyhow. So, that's what we got going on so far. Correct me if I'm wrong, but this is the transition into communism, is it not? Okay. You have a political movement. You get a few people to support you. You turn around and you intimidate the remaining people to support you, or else. Right now, they are weaponizing the Department of Justice, going after people. Each individual state that is Democratic is also pro-communist as of right now. Good example, New York State. They said they're going after your stoves, after your gas grills. They're going after your automobiles on your, they want EVs, but they don't have the infrastructure for it. They're starting to go after guys, pickup trucks. Don't touch a man's truck. And now they're using speed, the remote speed cameras to catch you speeding. And if you get a ticket, it's a minor fine, but they're using the speeding ticket showing that you're irresponsible and you are unable to purchase ammunition if you want to take your kid out target shooting. Now she's trying to make you go through a mental evaluation before you can purchase a rifle. That right there is the Democrats trying to circumvent the Second Amendment once again in New York State. Now, here's a question, and I'll make this one brief. Why is it they do not target criminals? Why? A law-abiding citizen will obey the law. No matter how foolish it sounds, no matter bad it turns out to be, law-abiding citizens are going to obey the law. That's why they're targets. Because these people, the Democrats in office, they know they cannot stop criminals from committing crimes. They don't target criminals whatsoever. I mean, look at the laws. They changed the bail so that these guys bust the person up, they go in, get booked, and then they turn around and walk out within 30 minutes. That's not, preventing crime, that's endorsing it. I've seen photos of people being pushed downstairs just for fun. I've seen guys getting beat up by teenagers, 12, 13 years old, but you got 8 or 10 of them. an adult male really doesn't have much chance standing up against that many young kids. The police are overrun. The Democrats know it. They're trying to reduce the police force. They're trying to give the power to the criminals. They're trying to get the illegals to vote for them, to keep them in office, because it's all about power and control. If anybody in New York State listens to this, if you honestly love your families, your children, your grandchildren, if you love your state, your city, your township, please vote Republican this time around. Democrats have had control of New York State for decades. Republicans are outnumbered 8-1, and look at what it's gotten us. Nowhere. Higher taxes, less employment, illegals voting, taking away your Second Amendment rights, targeting the vehicles that you drive, targeting the way you cook food. New York City, they're targeting the way they even cook pizza. It's time to make a stand and change the entire outlook on New York State, or else. Welcome to the Soviet New York. ICY out.